D. Watkins with Salon TV, and today I'm joined by Chelsea Handler, comedian and writer, and I feel like it's just like award-winning comedian and writer.
Really?
I know you have some. You have to have some award-winning comedian and writer and shows, and author of her brand new book, her latest, "Life Will Be the Death of Me and You Too." How you doing today?
I'm great. It's really nice to meet you.
Pleasure's all mine. So this was. So let's just start with the title. It was a great book, but explain the title. Why'd you choose to name it that?
Well, first you have a life and then you die. So it's like life and then death in that order. And once I saw it that way, I was like, you know what? This life is going to lead to my death. And then I decided to write a book about the kind of death that was in my life. And as I was writing it, more and more people kept dying. Yeah. And I went into my psychiatrist one day and I was like, people are dropping like flies. I said, everyone's dying. This whole book is going to be about death. Or I said it to my book editor, Julie Grau, and she was like, that's okay. She goes, it's funny. Your death stories are funny. Tell them.
And it happens to people sometimes.
And yeah, it happens to people sometimes. It's a great point. So it's something that a lot of people can experience, and I wanted to do it with levity and humor because I think the conversation is so important. I don't want everybody to go through life the way I did from 9 to 40, completely blocking out any sort of trauma that I had when I was 9 years old. I didn't want to address it, didn't want to talk about it. And that's not the way you should go through life. So I think I finally had something that I could share that I thought would be important.
No, I think it's very important. I've written a lot about death myself. I lost a sibling too, and people always ask me like, oh, was it therapeutic? Did it, are you changed after it? And I kind of still feel bad. So like, I wonder, am I doing something wrong? Did you feel like a release when you spoke on some of those issues, especially dealing with your brother and all?
Yes, I did. I felt a big catharsis, but it was also coupled with the therapy, the year-long therapy that I went to, which was what led to the book. And I think by saying it out loud and then writing it down, I had never said out loud to anyone what my brother said to me before he died. I had never uttered it. It was like a dirty secret, even though it was too painful. That he would come back, that he would never leave me with these people. And when I came, when I started talking about that stuff and admitting the conversation that did happen and how painful that was, and then writing it down, I feel like, oh, I really kind of helped that injury repair. And I'm not fully fixed or complete, but the biggest, deepest injury I had is now putting itself back together.
Is society becoming desensitized to death? I mean, we see it so much. It's like 50 people at this mass shooting.
Yeah.
40 people
We've become desensitized to shootings, and yeah, we don't value life like we used to. If we don't value children's lives, then whose lives do we value? I mean, what's the point of that future?
So one of the things that's extremely funny is how you open the book and how you started. And
you mean the dedication?
Yeah, the dedication. It was the best dedication I ever read.
Oh.
No, so I was eating cereal, and like I was just like enjoying my life, and like it was a beautiful day, and everything was nice and sweet. And then I found out Donald Trump was elected.
Yeah.
And then everything just went bad. The cereal went soggy, and the plant started dying. And
yeah.
What was your day like?
It was rough. I had to do a TV show that day, and I did it with my best friend Mary McCormick, and Barbara Boxer came on as a special guest because we thought we were going to be celebrating Hillary Clinton winning. So that was a bad day, and we had to be on TV. I think I cried publicly for the first time, or maybe not the first, but I was definitely crying on TV about the presidential election. So while it was probably like, a comfort to a lot of other people, I was just made the term snowflake become a reality in my world anyway. I was like, my reaction to the election was not healthy. And my outrage was so high that I had to get my shit together. Can't say S-H-I-T.
Yeah, you can. Oh, well, you can say shit on this show.
Oh,
this is a shit-friendly show.
He just yelled at me not to curse. I mean, some guy over there is like, don't curse. It's YouTube.
So in the beginning, like I didn't think he had a shot, and then like towards the end, the rallies got bigger and bigger and bigger, and I was like, then when I went to Ohio, I was in Ohio around the same time as the convention, and just even that scene was just like, you never see anything like it. Cowboys, white men with Confederate suits twerking. Like, it was like the weirdest shit I ever saw in my life.
Nightmare.
Yeah, but it was a real thing. So now that we're a couple of years in, how do you feel about it?
I feel that I wanted my life back. They robbed me. Trump and this administration robbed me of a year of my life, and I wanted to be in a place of positivity and hopefulness and not wanting to leave the country every day, and I didn't want them to rob me again of any of my time, and I wanted it back, and I wanted to harness that outrage, and I wanted to take this presidency and turn it into something powerful for me, because otherwise I will get cancer. And so going to a psychiatrist was about healing myself, and what I realized through that and talking with someone was that my injuries ran much deeper than Donald Trump. Donald Trump is nothing in my world. He's a blip on all of our radars, and giving him this amount of attention isn't working. And I don't need to do that with my day. So it was about me getting healthy and also about really being thoughtful about my life moving forward. Like, what am I doing? I'm in my 40s. What is my identity? How tied to fame am I? Is this the most important thing? Is this the only thing that I'm going to be known for, is having a television show? Like, that's not going to be good enough for me. And I wanted to contribute in other ways. So I needed to really take a time out and just become a little bit like, more self-aware.
That's also a journey. Like, you grow, and what meant the world to you 5 years ago probably doesn't mean the world to you now.
No, of course not. I mean, 5 years ago I wasn't open to even taking. The great thing about a psychiatrist is you're paying them to tell you what's wrong with you, and I like that exchange. I like paying for a service like that. I get a lot out of. Then I take the person seriously. What was your question? I don't know. I'm just answering random questions.
Just the whole idea of we grow. So, like, maybe at one point a show was the biggest thing in the world.
Yes.
And then you get that, and you experience that, and then it becomes like different things. What are the biggest things for you now?
I love to ski now. I love to I actually, meditate now, which is something that helps me so much. Like, I always was like, meditation, you hear words like gratitude and universe and meditation and all the time in LA. So sometimes, like, as a cynical person like me, I don't have time. Like, I don't take that stuff seriously. And then you find out about it and you experience it on your own. And you're like, oh, cannabis has opened up my mind. I've rediscovered cannabis because I couldn't drink when I was that angry because I would just get crazy.
Right.
So I was like, okay, maybe it's time to pivot. I've discovered cannabis. From cannabis, it allowed me to quiet down long enough to meditate. So that was like my gateway drug to meditation was cannabis. And now I meditate, and I've changed a lot in the last couple of years, and I owe that to this president for sure.
There's big business now.
Yeah.
Everybody's smoking everywhere.
Yeah.
But it should have been legal. Like, I would rather be at a party full of people who were smoking weed than at a party full of people who were drinking like too much alcohol.
Yeah, and
alcohol people want to fight. Weed people, they might hold hands and take a nap.
And alcohol drunk is just not a hot look. It's never hot, and after a certain age, it's certainly not hot. So cannabis is where it's at, and we have medicine growing out of the ground that we made illegal. Like, Mother Earth put this here, and we're saying, and we let a bunch of guys say, no, you can't smoke that, that's illegal, and let's lock up every person, who gets caught with a dime bag. And yet we have an opioid industry and a pharmaceutical industry, so it's really imbalanced. So I have a line of weed coming out in the summer, and it is going to be a brand that destigmatizes. First of all, women need to be emboldened and empowered to use weed the way that men do. It is a medicinal thing, cannabis, and people, now that there's an educational component that was missing for so many years, we're able to now know, oh, you're not taking an edible at a party and going to end up in the bathroom for 4 hours vomiting. You're actually going to microdose and just have a great night and totally remember every single thing and hopefully not drink as much. It's definitely cut my drinking in half, which is also a sentence I never thought I'd say.
One of the things that stuck out to me in the book was when you were writing about Trump supporters and how your upbringing and your rise to fame and power was kind of like you escaping that. So you were able to like look at, and then you said your dad's like Trump and not successful. Could you explain that?
Can I explain my dad what?
Yeah, well, your upbringing in relation to the reality of a Trump supporter, and why you said your dad was kind of like Trump but not as successful.
Well, my dad was a used car dealer, so he was like not powerful in any way, which is a good thing because he was a shyster and he lied and he cheated and he wasn't an upright citizen. He wasn't a hardcore criminal, but he was shifty and shady, and I saw that growing up. And I think Trump was such a trigger for me because my dad is so much like him, and those two guys being in control is not a world I want to live in.
Mm-hmm. Is it easy to write about your family?
Yeah, it's really easy to write about my family, and luckily they've given me an entire career about them, so that's helpful, and they're good sports about it, and they like it now. Now that I'm growing up, and they like they like coming on press tours with me. My sister was with me yesterday, and my family likes, I think they're happier that I've finally calmed down a little bit.
They're like, thank God for
They're
the
like,
weed.
we didn't ever think this was going to happen, It's like I'm speaking Japanese all of a sudden. They're like, wait, is this another one of your trends? Like you're going to be into this for 2 years and then be out? And yeah, maybe it is a trend. I don't know, but it's what's happening right now.
Did you ever say anything like on stage or on television that pissed off somebody?
Yeah. I've had all my family members not speak to me at some point. But in this book, I focus on my brother's wife because she's a Russian. Mm-hmm. And so I have a problem with Russians in general. And she is a focus of that attention. And I said to my brother, is Olga, he goes, she reads all your books. I go, well, I'm going to talk a little bit of shit about her. And so I hope she's down with that. And there's literally a chapter about how annoying me and my dog traveling to Spain and how annoying Olga was on the trip, that I just had to take a sleeping pill to get out of it because I couldn't hang out with my family anymore. I was so annoyed on vacation that I just had to drug myself. So I said to my brother, I'm like, is it cool if I write about Olga? He's like, yeah. He goes, she reads all your books, but I think you've made fun of her a bunch already. I was like, okay, but great.
That's what family should be. You should be able to poke fun at it. I think we're just living in a time now with PC culture is just trying to suck the life out of comedy. Do you see that?
Yeah, I think everyone's really frustrated and confused, and there's an overcorrection happening right now, but it's necessary. I mean, everybody got a little out of hand, so now we have to overcorrect and then hopefully end up somewhere in the middle where people can act normal, and if you want to ask somebody out at work, you can do that.
I almost feel like that balance might not happen because there's big money in overcorrecting stuff. Like there's big industries and business plans and things being created for people who are the masters of overcorrecting. That's a new industry.
Right, but there's going to be another new industry in 5 years and another one in 5 years. So that doesn't define something's existence, I don't think. But you're right, there will be a bunch of industries that are like, oh, we're going to train your employees how not to sexually harass somebody at work because you need training to do that.
So, if I make you feel racist, will you buy me a car?
Probably.
Okay, all right.
I'm trying not to do that anymore, buy people cars, because I've done that a lot. And I'm trying to be more reasonable with my approach to everything and have balance. So I would have to really offend you, but to pay you off with a car seems cheap anyway. No, I'd get you a plane.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't know how to make people feel racist. I think it would just be like...
if I make you feel racist is a great opener. It's like, oh, shit, I'm sorry. Did I do something already?
Yeah, actually, no, it's just I could use a jet. So you got really, really, really vulnerable in this book. And it's I know it can be extremely difficult. What now? What's the next step now? Do you start it's like a rebirth? Is it
No, it's not a rebirth. This is just me. I've been making a career for my life about just talking and sharing and oversharing. And this is something that is, that happened to me in my life that's real and authentic. So this was another opportunity for me to overshare. And all the stuff that I'm going to do moving forward is going to have this kind of tone in it, And I did a documentary for Netflix that comes out in September on white privilege, my own specifically. And that is these two things I've been working on for the last year, and they're important because that's what I want to do moving forward, is have a little bit more thought behind what I do, rather than just cashing a check and becoming more famous or more successful, really thinking about strategically what is the right thing for me to do and what feels right. This book feels right, the documentary felt right, and I think it's going to be, stuff like that from now on. I feel like I have a sense of responsibility at this time in my life.
Do you have projects that you can look back on and say that I'm really glad I worked on that?
Everything I've done, I'm proud of. I think, maybe a couple things I wish I hadn't done. But for the most part, I'm really happy that I've taken so many risks and that I'm, Like I look back at my career and I go, oh my God, I can't believe you did that and that. And like I feel so fearless when I look at myself. And then I'm like, wait, that's you.
No, I think
you could do that.
No, I think you're fearless. I think you're fearless.
I'm not fearless.
And sometimes I feel like when you talk about yourself, it seems like you downplay some of your talent. Like I heard you say something about you fail up before, like you made a mistake and failed up. And then I saw something else where you said you have success because you're blonde, but you're a great interviewer, you're funny, and you're a great writer. These things are valuable. Like people want this.
Thank you.
Do you ever feel like you have to downplay yourself?
Yeah, you're right. I think we all do. I think women in general just do that because you don't want to act like you deserve what you have. You don't want to be like, of course I got this. Like, look at my writing.
But everyone can't do this. So there's a value in that.
Yeah, this book, I feel like I wrote a book. The other books, I would say, I don't want to diminish again that
right.
because you're right, that's bad juju. I shouldn't be doing that because I have accomplishments and I should be proud of them. Thank you for this pep talk.
Well, next thing I want you to do is create an app where we can all purchase white privilege.
Yeah.
Since you brought privilege up.
That's a great way to end the film.
Yeah, bring it up. Yeah, make an app where I could just say, you know what? I'm traveling to Utah this weekend. I probably need about $3,700 worth of white privilege. I can go down there and get into
God,
all
wouldn't
like
that be something? An app for white privilege. All right, I got to get my wheels turning on that one. God, it would be hard to equate how much you get for what. You know what I mean? Who's going to decide that stuff? But it's a great idea. One that should be pursued.
Yeah, let's work on it. Okay. So what's next? So you have the new documentary.
Well, I'm 9 months
out.
pregnant, so I'm gonna have a baby any day now. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And after the baby is born, I will probably I have my cannabis line, my book, my documentary. Nothing. I don't know what I'm gonna do after that. No plans. I'm gonna see what the world throws at me.
So I also feel like you've accomplished a lot with the documentary series that you had. So I thought the one on drugs was really funny. I thought the one about race was funny. Sitting there with Reverend Al and all that. I always got a funny story about him because when I was in grad school, this one kid.
Where did you go to grad school?
Johns Hopkins. And this kid was like, well, I want to have a real conversation about race with you, but it's like, all you guys going to do is just run and go get Reverend Al. And I'm like, yo, I don't know him. How am I going to get a hold of Reverend Al Sharpton? First of all, he has the softest hair I ever saw. You can't be like a regular person.
You can't be a real person.
And have that type of access. I mean, to the Reverend, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is he really a Reverend?
Yeah, he is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think you have to be called one, no?
Everything, no. I mean, you can get all of these different things.
No, Reverend, now. I think, I don't want to, I'm probably wrong. I don't know anything about it. Yeah, maybe he's not. Maybe he's not a Reverend.
But your show about drugs is the one that I want to
ayahuasca, yeah. I did ayahuasca for a show. I get more questions about that than, dating 50 Cent. But I had a great ayahuasca experience because I went to Peru. I wrote about it in the book because I went to Peru and did it for my Netflix special. But I wrote about it because so many people constantly ask me about ayahuasca, and people are so curious about this plant that they grow in Peru, and then they brew it into tea and you drink it. Have you done it?
I haven't done it, but I heard it was extremely disgusting.
Yeah, people go to the bathroom, number 2, and they vomit. And back and forth, and so they tell you, get ready for that kind of night.
So even if you do it around your friends, it's still bad because you don't want to be around your friends while they're
Nobody wants to be doing both of those things ever, not with their friends or without them, So the shaman, I didn't have to go to the bathroom, but I vomited, and it's like a purging. But it was an incredible experience and one that I'll never forget. And it's fun to do a drug and then have it be a concentrated 2-hour experience. And the images, it's psychedelic. So you get imagery and you see your childhood play out before your eyes. And you see yourself outside of your own body as a little girl and then as an older girl. And you're like, oh my God, and your sisters or whoever comes to you. And most people, it's somebody they really love, and it kind of deepens the relationship with that person and reminds them what real love is.
Is this something that you think everyone should try?
No. Most people probably shouldn't try it. It's about, you have to be okay with drugs and getting really high.
But it's like a tea, so it's not
No,
it's not like we're doing lines of ayahuasca.
Well, you might wish you were after you could take that tea because you could explode.
Oh, wow.
You could have a huge explosion. And then if you're not wearing your diaper, what would happen?
Yeah,
it would be everywhere.
So is it something that you would try again?
Yes.
You feel like, isn't it in the plans or?
No, I don't have it in the plans, but I'm open to always doing drugs. I try anything. Like if it's a drug that has like a spiritual correlation or can open your mind, like microdosing with mushrooms is interesting to me. I do that a lot. I like, they're doing microdosing with LSD now. I've never done that, but I would do it. I like anything that makes you start, accesses a part of your brain that's kind of sleeping.
Yeah, so tell everyone, not where they can microdose at, but tell everyone where they can...
My house.
Where they can come see you talk about the book and,
I'll be on tour, livenation.com or chelseahandler.com. You get a book with every ticket you buy for a ticket to see me live, and I'm coming to 20 cities starting in Boston and ending in San Diego.
You heard it here. Thank you.